Okay. This is as good as we're getting. See ya. Nice. I'm pretty proud of this setup. Do you guys like the new, the new lights? It's very echoey in here. Apologies. Just pretend that you don't hear it. This is actually gonna be something for me to work on. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Georgia.bridge and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Howdy, howdy, hidey ho. Hello, it's me, Georgia, back for another weekly video. Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? I hope you are well. It's me, your resident bisexual YouTuber, here today with yet another gay video. That was pretty good. Anyway, a little background for those of you who might be new here. I'm sure I've gotten a great clickbait thumbnail to lure you in, but hopefully you're going to want to stay. My name is Georgia Bridgers. I came out as bisexual 2 years ago in 2018, publicly here on the internet. Ever since then, I started a series on my channel called Q&gAy. Like Q&A, but gay. This isn't really a personal Q&A, Q&gAy. You know, I didn't put out on Instagram, what questions do you have about my life? It's more like, what questions do you have about the LGBTQ community and what conversations can we have together here in this safe, fun space? In the past, my Q&gays have been, I wouldn't say surface level, but I have not been pushing myself to answer deeper, harder questions. These questions are the ones that I picked out, some of them are a little bit lighter, but the ones that I picked out have some weight to them. You guys send me the most phenomenal questions whenever I put up that little box on Instagram. I decided to challenge myself with this video to talk about things I have not really spoken about before on this channel. You know, I figured, Georgia, you're an adult. You talk about these things in your everyday life. Let's put that voice out there on the internet as well. It has a place here. So I'm gonna get kind of deep with you guys with this one, but of course we still have fun. As always, I encourage you all to continue these conversations, or if you feel so compelled to share your lived experiences in the comments below. It could be a fun way to chat with other people in the community. But kindness only allowed. Unless we see a homophobe, then it's on site. Let's begin the Q&gAy. Oh, and one more disclaimer, as I say with all my videos, my answers are not the only correct answers in the world. They're my lived experiences that I want to share with you all. Every single one of your feelings and things that you guys experience are all 100% valid. Just throwing that out there. All right, starting us off. How to let girls know you're into girls as a femme. I have a little bit more experience in... So I have a bit more experience with this particular question than others because, well, hello, look at all this going on. I am a very, very feminine person. I just love being girly. It's a thing about me. And you know, there is the stereotype that girly girls are not gay, queer, lesbian, anything. When there are situations like this where perhaps you don't fit the societal standard of what gay should look like, but you do want to put it out there that you are on the market, I had to be extremely vocal about it. I know sometimes that can be really scary because what if you don't want to be super vocal about it? What if you're not ready to be walking around? Well, I'm not saying you have to be walking around town like, hey, I'm into that lady business stuff. But you could do it in more subtle ways as well, whether that be a rainbow pin on your backpack or a particular pride flag. I went with the rainbow emoji in my Instagram bio, felt like that worked out for me. There's also the pride flag emoji that works out for that as well. Whatever makes you the most comfortable is the route you should go down because your comfort in your sexuality is what is most important. So sometimes we just gotta be vocal about these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Can lesbians like non-binary people? I've actually been seeing a lot of this discourse on Twitter lately. In my personal opinion, everybody goes through their own gender identity or sexuality awakening on their own terms. So whatever label someone chooses for themselves, it's valid. 100% you can identify as a lesbian and fall in love with someone who is non-binary. Your sexuality and your gender identity, it's your own personal journey. For someone to try to take that away because it seems like it doesn't make sense, I personally think that is foolish and unbelievably hurtful. My sibling just came out as non-binary here on my channel. So the way I think of it is like, if a lesbian wanted to date my sibling, that does not invalidate that lesbian's identity, and that does not invalidate Hope's gender identity. Do what you need to do and identify how you need to identify to love yourself and to love others at the end of the day. Do you have to come out? Can't I just stay in the closet forever? My parents are very homophobic. First of all, I am so unbelievably sorry that your parents do not give you the support that you deserve in your sexuality journey. You deserve love at the end of the day. And regardless of who you love, your family should be loving you no matter what. I have shied away from these topics in the past because I was so lucky that neither of my parents are homophobic. No one in my immediate family has ever given me shame or hatred because of my sexuality. You know, personally, I am not qualified to speak on the topic in a shared experience, but I felt compelled to talk about this because, well, for starters, your safety is what is most important. So if you're younger and you are forced to still be living with your parents, you need to find a safe space to be in if you want to come out, if you are ready and you think it is your time. I personally cannot condone staying in the closet forever because I used to want to stay in the closet forever, and that just crushed my soul beyond compare. It fucked up my mental health, it fucked up my physical health. So when you allow yourself to be who you truly are and who you are put on this planet to be, the freedom and the happiness is boundless. However, it's more important for you to be physically safe at this moment in time, and you will find your time to come out. But also remember that no matter what your parents say, no matter how they have been brainwashed to think, your love is valid. It is so valid. You will have your time and you will find that support. Even if it might not be right there in your immediate family, there's a whole family out here waiting to welcome you with open arms, no matter what. Next question. Is labeling yourself important? Do you have to pick a specific label to define your sexuality? Very good question. I would say this is completely a case-by-case basis. I was gonna say a base-by-base cases. No. When I started my sexuality journey, I felt comfort and solace in knowing that bisexual was the word for me at the end of the day. But here's the thing, everyone is different. I don't think that a label is important. I don't think you need to have a label if you are uncomfortable with that. Do not push yourself to something that isn't you, isn't your essence. No, you don't have to pick a specific label for your sexuality, or you can pick a specific label for your sexuality, or you can pick a label and grow up a little more and realize that that's not the right label for you. Sexuality is a spectrum. You don't have to put yourself into a box if you don't want to put yourself into a box. And not to say that like each label is a box, I would say each label is an aura, and you can fit into that aura if you want to, if it feels right for you. I am part of the bisexuality aura, and that is where I belong for the time being. Who knows what could happen in the future, but me, Georgia, right here, right now, I am bisexual. It works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Next question. How to respond to homophobic... Why can't I? How to respond to homophobic comments in real life that the person doesn't realize are homophobic. Good question. If someone with no malicious intent says something homophobic, call them out. You gotta do it right then, right there. If you don't call them out, then they're going to continue living their lives thinking that that is an okay thing to say when it's quite obviously not. I would do it with kindness at the forefront, depending on who the person is. If someone says something that's homophobic and they don't realize it's homophobic or extremely hurtful to the community, just be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know what you said is not true and it's not cool and it's actually hurtful. Instead, you could say this and give an example. Of course, each situation could and likely will be different. Again, make sure you're safe, because unfortunately that is something we often have to think about in the community, our safety. My suggestion is to immediately call them out and turn it into a learning experience. Focus on getting them the education that they lack and now need to continue living a good life. Next question. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous to answer this question because, quite frankly, I've never really talked about sex on my channel. I grew up in the Catholic school system, and the only sex education I got was Chastity Week, which was a yearly thing in junior high where these women would come in and just teach us to wait to have sex until you're married and to choose life and that God was always watching us. And I was literally brainwashed. They brought in Jolly Ranchers, and whenever you answered a question correctly about how you should wait to have sex till you're married, you got a Jolly Rancher. You have a classroom of 40 12-year-olds. Of course we're gonna answer the questions and be engaged for the candy. So I have always been just so nervous to talk about sex in a public manner. But I'm realizing that's foolish because sex is a thing, it's sex. It's nothing to be scared of to talk about, and it's nothing to want to shy away from. It's sex and it's great, so we're gonna talk about it. I'm nervous. Here we go. I'm gay, but I'm low-key scared to eat out a girl. Does that mean I'm not gay? Do you have any tips on how to change this / get more comfortable with the idea? Why, yes, of course I do. Being scared to have sex for the first time in a women-loving women relationship, man-loving man relationship, any kind of queer gay sex, being nervous about that does not invalidate your sexuality in the slightest. Sex is a very nerve-wracking thing because, in my opinion, of the lack of education we get about it in school. Not to mention, we only learn about heterosexual sex in school. My SD card was full, of course, in the middle of what I'm most nervous to talk about. Sex! So anyway, right off the bat, we have a lack of education, which then brings about ignorance to sex. Because us kids try to learn what it is via porn, which is fictitious, I will say. To recap, if you are scared to have queer sex, that does not mean you are not part of the community. It means you're a normal freaking human being. I would say some good things you can do to get over this fear. It's, you know, if this is a situation where you are a vagina having person about to have sex with another person who has a vagina, you're already ahead of the game because you know what's going on downtown. So it'll be easier for you to figure out what your partner needs in your consensual loving relationship. Communication is a huge, huge, huge thing. I know it can be super scary, especially in a new relationship, to talk about sex with your partner, but it's a very connecting moment. When you talk about it with your partner, it goes that many more times better. So communicate with your partner, test out the map on yourself. See guys, this is how I'm talking nervous about sex. I can't quite say. And thirdly, with extreme care. Be careful. But there are actually some great articles out there on the internet. I'm not saying to go look up porn, but if you are nervous about having sex for the first time and you feel like you cannot talk to a trusted adult and you are taken to the internet like the rest of us to get your education, there are some great resources out there. But what is most important at the end of the day is your own experience and your partner's experience. Your thoughts and your partner's thoughts are not going to be out there blatantly on the internet to see. So get vulnerable. It'll work out in the end. Practice makes perfect. Just kidding. Okay. Over time, you will get so much more comfortable. You don't need to worry. Sex talk over for now. All right, beautiful people, that is all I have for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Again, only kindness down below, please. I love you all to the moon and back. Don't forget to be your best self. I will see you in next week's video. All right, love you. Bye. Wait, thumbnail, here we go. That should be good. Bye.